when you got the developer here and you have them building it, but you have numerous turbine sites going up all over the place. It's not like they go in and set up one and then they move on to the next one. They have all these construction areas, at least what I've seen, and they have them all going at once. And with them all going at once and trucks going to all these different operations, they may be pouring concrete at 3 or 4 different pads at one time. I mean, there's going to be site work going on, and those companies are not owned by the developer. They're brought in and paid for by the developer, but they're not owned by the developer. There's local guys that will probably do the concrete, and there's local guys that may do tile repair and stuff like that, but they're not going to bring in their own crews for that. I know they'll bring in probably to erect them and have some local guys, if they want jobs to do it, they may qualify them or have them qualified to do that. But I'm just saying with some of those processes, you got to determine what liability goes with who, because if I got a concrete truck coming into my driveway to pour concrete and I damage the road, if the guy damages it, am I liable for it, or is the concrete company? I know they have insurance and all that stuff, or if they leave and nobody sees it, and then somebody gets injured.
Yeah, well, my thought was initially what we would ask up to the township would be things that would specifically protect the township on liability issues.
Right.
Which could be result of accidents or
right, or whether or not requiring the developer up front to go and have them take care of any liability involved with their construction, which they may already do, and we don't know.
Yeah,
so.
And that's why I'm thinking if we can, have the township engage both their liability insurance company and the attorney, maybe they could draw up a good plan, a good
right.
action plan.
That makes sense.
In that light, we will be contemplating.
Yeah, because, there's an awful lot of things here that township could get sued for, from ice creams or from anything.
Well, especially after, well, here's the other thing is that once the ordinance is developed, here's the other thought that I've had running around in my head, is once the ordinance developed and say we go with 1320, and there's issues with noise, and there's issues with shadow flicker on houses, what prevents the developers from saying, well, you guys set the ordinance and your township board voted on that ordinance, so you guys deal with it. We don't have to because it's okay because you guys set the ordinance. You know what I'm saying? So you guys put it on.
They set certain parameters inside the contract to address those issues, so if there was an issue with that, no matter what the setback might be, they would have to address that.
Every house in.
Yeah, they address the complaint, but how do they go and not go back on the township saying, well, you guys agreed to 45 decibels, you guys agreed 13 and 220 feet, well, you guys, but the developer said that's what we wanted, but you guys agreed on it. Now the liability falls back on you as a township because you guys, it's your zoning rules, it's your ordinance now. So now whatever we put in there, if you have complaints, you go to your township board first and complain with them. Or you sue your township board because you're including suing your own township in a litigation because you have to sue your township and draw the developer in because they set up and went with the guidelines that the developer offered. You see what I'm saying? I mean, the potential liability for the township by going with those setbacks, we also have to take into consideration that the potential of the loss of the township getting sued because of what setbacks are determined by the board. Because
So the question would be, would the burden of liability change from the developers to the township if the developers are staying within the guidelines of the
right,
regulation?
that's what I'm trying to say. You said
So
it much more eloquent.
I was just trying to paraphrase.
Right, no.
But maybe that could be a question for the
attorney is what I'm saying is.
That's true.
I mean, I'm not saying they're not going to do it, but, I can see the possibility. I mean, contracts are signed, and this is what it is, and here's what your rules are, so you gave us the rules, and sorry, it's your guys' deal to deal with. And now, even if you say the developers say we'll take the court, but people can sue the township also because they allow those guidelines that affect their life. And so that draws all our tax money that we're paying in here back into the suing ourselves, basically.
And all we're trying to get is just an understanding.
Right, an understanding. I'm not saying it's ever going to happen, it's just hypothetical.
It's things that need to be thought about when we put this down.
they're not, but I went on Google Earth, and if you go Duke Energy in Wyoming, go and look that up, and they got one building from the air, and you get the aerial view of it. I think it was done, but they have an aerial view with the turbines laying on the ground and the roads and everything there. But they're not like us. They don't have community. There are not many houses out there, and I know they do it different. But it was really neat to see when you get to Google Earth and see those things laid out on the ground and built. And they had some constructed, and then they had other ones on the way. And that's what I was saying, where you go and see that they have just started one site and built one to go. They got them all going at once, and it was pretty interesting to see all the towers and everything put
Yeah, I
together.
was down at the project in Falls County 2 weeks ago. And I had it pretty much all laid out before they started setting up turbines.
Right, yeah, it was pretty interesting. I mean, it was very interesting. I did that. I saw that earlier today, and I was like, wow, that was cool to see that.
Okay, well, what do we think? The ones, number 8, number 14, 16,
Number 1, number 1, and 8, 14 and 16.
1, 8, 14, 16.
Number 12 ties in with Eric's point. I don't know if that's already covered under some of these other ones, but that kind of,
Well, I
it's
guess
right there, he was saying.
Well, but that goes to our research and what's
Right.
proper with that. That stuff there is basically gonna be set.
Right, but I mean,
Yeah.
once an ordinance would be made. that's
Right.
where Your point.
Right,
Right.
yeah, it's basically once the ordinance is made, and how do we, does all the liability, because we made the ordinance fall back on us as also as the township suing ourselves if there's major problems, if there were any lawsuits to happen.
Yeah, but
I don't know if you want to include that.
well, I think it would probably be covered in what we were talking about. What if developers are within the guidelines, an issue arises, will the burden of liability transfer from developers to the township
Right.
in that situation, if they're within the guidelines of the regulation? Now, I think that encompasses quite a bit.
Right.
I mean, whatever may be built into a regulation then would be covered with that question.
Right, but we don't have the right to go and deliver what that needs to be done by an attorney to come up with that language.
Right, and I would agree, and that's why, I mean, I wanted to get some of these out of the way.
Right, so we don't have to go and research them.
Yeah, that way we can skip right past them, and we can focus on some other
Did you say it was
things.
30, what was the other two? Were there 30s, or did we
Yeah,
want to
there's
decide
some in
39? Well, I guess that's still covered by the liability, but we could probably take them off to 39, and what was the other one? 35? I mean, we can,
Yeah.
Well, 39 would be covered again, I think, by number 16.
right, yep, so that one, I mean, we can start eliminating, well, we can still do
And
research on
probably
them.
35.
We can still do research on those, I mean, for us, but the liability part needs to be transferred to
Yeah.
the attorney,
And that was where I was just trying to go with this,
Right.
is just
just the stuff to be.
so that we could, present something to the township so that they can start the process of having discussions with their insurance carrier and with the attorney.
That makes sense.
I mean, for number 16, they're probably going to need information from all the other things on here. You know,
Yeah, I'd go and give them the whole weight paper.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, and the township could do that, I mean.
And just as the liability and concerns, though, and put it as the liability for any of these, and what are their answers as, the answer to these questions, and what the township's liability is.
Comments?
I'd submit the whole thing to the attorney.
Yeah, I mean, no, I think so, yeah, why
Yeah,
not? Instead of,
but-
and just say this is what it is, and what do you feel, liability or whatever, and we're still gonna research all this stuff, but we can eliminate a couple of them that were directly lawyer or law stuff, but the rest of them, we still have to research it, but that way they can go and have an answer to it and say, well, basically, here you go, and these are what we think could have a potential liability.
At least for this point, because I mean, there's some things that really, they're outside of a regulation.
Right,
Right.
exactly.
And I guess that's where I'm just trying to get that off the mark so we can get them going on that.
I motion to submit the whole list to the attorney and to the insurance carrier, or to the township board, for them to decide whether or not to put it to. I guess we can go and ask them to submit it, but it's up to them. My motion is to send this up to the township board with a letter asking them to submit it to the, if they feel necessary, to the attorney and the insurance company.
We want to have them focus on the entire list, like the attorney, or?
What they feel, I mean, you can mark out the ones that are necessary, that you feel are most interesting, but they can take a look at the whole list. They might as well have it all. Maybe there's something we're missing here that they say could be potential liability or whatever.
Okay. Was that a motion?
Yeah, that was a motion. Motion to send this up and let the township board determine whether or not to send it to their insurance carrier and their liability, but we're making the recommendation to them that they should.
And their attorney.
And their attorney, exactly. The insurance and the attorney.
Okay.
If they're recommending, and we recommend that they do, so that way we can get some of these answers taken care of by them, to move this around quicker, move this process forward.
Support. Support. Moving support. Any further discussion? Would it, I just want to discuss a little bit for clarity, that as we pass this up, do we want to put these few items as focus points, but
Oh, yeah,
still
absolutely.
provide the entire?
Absolutely.
Still provide
That's what
the
I
entire
thought,
list.
I'm sorry, I didn't add that. Yeah, absolutely. The focal points that we feel are the ones in there, but the rest of the list can, might as well go and see if they find something that they may think is,
Okay.
so, yeah. Like I said, I'm not real good at this. I'm a carpenter. You know?
Reread the motion.
Yeah. Do you have a motion?
Okay, well, I have it now. So that you made a motion to give a list of impacts to the township to check with their attorney and insurance companies, focusing on number 1, 8, 14, 16, and 35, right?
And
39,
39, 35 and 39? Okay.
but also we need to look at the rest of them.
And also,
Right.
yeah.
Include the whole list.
And the whole list is included with our recommendation to give the list to their attorney and insurance company.
Right. Much better.
Okay. All right. And we had a second by Norris.
Yes. So the, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Good to go.